I'm Andy Weins, joined by Casey Bubba Lawrence. How are you today, sir?
Pretty good. A little sick, but other than that, I'm all right.
Why are you sick? What's wrong with you?
Just got a case of the itis, man.
Case of the itis?
Yeah.
The work-itis? The COVIDs? I don't got time for that. All right. New week, new you. What do you want to talk about, brother?
I want to talk about delegation and how that's the key to success in any business, but specifically in the junk removal business.
All right. So why is delegating so important in this industry in particular?
Well, because you're only one person, and most people in this business, they start them by themselves because they have a truck and a trailer, and then they try to get more business, and they keep trying to do everything themselves. They don't understand that in order to grow and succeed, you can't do everything yourself, because while you're out there trying to get business, jobs aren't getting done, and while you're doing jobs, you're not getting business coming in. So, what's funny is there's going to be it's almost like a big wall that'll hit where you'll know, okay, the business is coming in. I can't support this by myself anymore. I need to hire somebody else to either take on the job duties or office duties or something. A lot of people are afraid to do that because they have this mindset of they can work. They're not afraid to work harder their whole life. But they end up getting stuck in it because they can work hard, and they think that that's succeeding by, 7 days a week, I work 12 hours a day, and I'm not afraid of work. Well, the issue with that is you get sick, you get hurt, your business stops completely. That's just not how you grow.
No, you're dead on. And we've seen that. We both had franchises, and one of the reasons why we we're more successful financially, we'll call it, right? I'm not going to say that we were more successful in the other way, but financially we had more money coming in, and arguably more time available to us was the fact that we were able to get ourselves out of the truck in a timely fashion.
Right.
Because you still have to be aware of what's going on around you. Actually, I wrote it on my board today what my coach had told me. We hired a new GM. His first day was today, so it's interesting to talk about delegation. And in his phrase, he told me I have to tell myself is eyes on, hands off. And that's huge for me. Huge for me to know that I can be involved. I can see what's going on, but I can't put my hands around it. And that goes with a lot of things. Certainly the jobs. I'm not out there banging jobs every day. But also when it comes to training, coaching, mentoring employees, it comes to how to regulate what's going on in the warehouse. It comes to writing the SOPs. All these things are eyes on, hands off. Make sure I'm watching it, because I don't want to be a passive investor in a business and just be like, oh yeah, like I just look at the P&L at the end of the month. No, I want to be actively engaged in asking questions and seeing things and questioning how we're running things, so I better understand and become smarter in the industry, but not actually doing it. And we've seen it. We've seen it firsthand that there is this flux, right? And in junk removal, I think it's probably right around the $20,000 mark, right? With one truck, again, inflation, and other contributing factors. But on average, one truck that's an individual with a helper, individual with a second or a third guy can do $20,000 to $25,000 of revenue in a month.
Yeah,
because that's where your capacity is. And also, when you only have one truck or even two trucks and like two trailers, you don't have that much flexibility because you can only be one place at one time. You got to break off to make landfill runs or break off to run donations, break off for the warehouse. But also from a capacity standpoint, when you book a week or two of jobs, you're not going to networking events. You're not considering your marketing. You're not taking the time to post on social media. And then you get this dip, and then you go to networking events, and then you get this pickup again.
Yeah.
And I've seen habitually, like guys like, oh man, I hit $30,000 this month. And then the next month they hit 15. So it's like, okay, that's great. You put those two together, it averages out to 22.5.
Right.
Right. Well, why is that? It's because all those reasons. And I tell people, once you can hit 10,000, you got to be looking to replace yourself. Once you get to $10,000 a month, that is at that point, you are cash flow positive and you can pay yourself. But would you rather pay yourself or bring somebody else on that you can pay? Yes, you're going to take on some more operational expenses, but you want to hire somebody on between that $15,000 and $20,000 a month and bring them on so you have another truck available. So once you hit 21,000, you have 20,000 for one truck, 1,000 for the other, and scale that way.
Yeah.
The goal is $30,000 to $35,000 per truck per month. Again, it's going to change. I had a business in San Diego. The number was much higher because the expenses are higher. On the West or East Coast, it's going to be higher. But that's the goal. But don't wait till you're at $30,000 to bring on that second truck and bring in that second crew. And put yourself in the mindset that your job as the owner is to be on the business. Now, if you're happy doing $150,000 in junk removal and maybe clearing 70, 80 afterwards, great. But God bless. But don't come to me in 2-3 years when you say, oh, yeah, my back hurts, my knees hurts, and I can't take a fucking vacation because the entire business revolves around me.
Yeah.
Because
well, you know,
that was your fucking plan.
Yeah, and unfortunately, you know, you have the mentality sometimes people think that, oh, if I do it, well, I'm free. I don't cost a dime. And that's actually the wrong thing. You're the most expensive person.
You are free.
You know?
You are
and
free. Easy in, easy out.
But they think that since they're doing all the jobs, they're saving money because they're not paying someone else. When in actuality, they're thinking wrong. Because if I go do a job right now, let's just say I do a small job. Let's say it's $3,000. Okay, here's a good example. We did a driveway demo a couple of days ago. It's $4,000. I showed up in the morning, just made sure my guy got started well. Showed up at lunch because we went to lunch, and at the end of it, I showed up and we took pictures and called it a day. It took us, a day, but I paid the guy, I think $300 is what I paid my guy for a day of just being in a skid steer. Now, I could have saved $300 and I would have done it all myself. But here's what I would have missed. I had 2 meetings that day with other jobs. I had another meeting with the guy who wants me to demo a house, but also help build this commercial building. And we started talking, and he's well connected with the online community, and he builds pretty much real estate online. It's kind of crazy, but there's so much potential that I would have missed had I would try to save $300.
Oh yeah.
And the same rule applies for junk removal. I mean, when you're in the truck, people want to, they want to meet Andy, they want to meet Casey. That's fine. Maybe once a week you go out with a crew for one job or something, just to kind of reconnect with the customers or whatever the fuck. But in the big realm of things, people that hire your company for bigger things, they want to meet you. They don't want to see you. They want to meet you. They want to say, hey, Andy, what are you all about? Right? Now, your customers, of course, they would love to meet the owner, but what's more important, meeting a customer or meeting a potential contract, a multi-year contract?
Well, and the meeting doesn't have to take place all day. So actually, today we have a new GM that started, and so today I was in here. I went on the first job. So we had 2 jobs. One was 4.5 trailers. The other one was 5 trailers. So they're both decent all day jobs. And I went to the first job because I did the estimate like a month ago, and I wanted to make sure I was fresh, and I set the team up for success. Got the guys going. The customer wasn't there. Fine. The customers see me. They know I give a shit. The new GM sees what I'm seeing, and there's that handoff and exchange. I take the 2 minutes. I get everybody, hey, this is the guy. This is the way we're going to run this job. And they got done an hour and a half, 2 hours faster than I had anticipated. And it went smooth, right? Everything that was supposed to go, it went the way it did. And then the other job I went to, the customer was there. I hadn't met the customer yet. The realtor was the one that let me in. I banged the job, or I did the estimate for the job, and the guys were there banging it out. And I was only there for 20 minutes. But in that 20 minutes, I found out he was Marine. We talked about Iraq and some other things, right? Just, oh yeah, where have you been? What have you done? Kind of deal. I asked him why he hired me over the competition, so I got that piece of information, right? So I'm collecting info all along the way. And not only that, but then once our guys were taken apart, they had a lift chair in the property. I haven't taken one of those things apart in 2 or 3 years. And then I recognized, hey, I saw some things that I didn't necessarily like as a business owner. And now I have things to go back to my general manager and say, okay, these are where we need to make corrections. This is the opportunity we have. I don't need to be there for 8 hours to see opportunity. So now I invested an hour of my time between those 2 job sites. And in that time, my guys got to spend time with me, and I got to spend time with them. I got to meet a customer and hear their perspective. But then I go about my business, right? And then I'm meeting with David about Young Guns so I can drive revenue there. I'm meeting with the Center for Veteran Issues so I can talk about hiring more veterans. I go and have lunch with another CEO, had some great gyros. So that's my day. So I went and had lunch with another CEO, had a great gyro, talked about CEO stuff within my Vistage group. Then I went and had a 1 hour coaching conversation with my personal individual business coach. And he's the one that, eyes on, hands off, reminding me what it means to be on the business. Then I had 2 hours of call with UW-Madison students. And now we're here in our podcast. So people have been like, wait, you just hang out with people all day.
Pretty much.
Yeah. But while I'm driving, I'm calling to check on scrap prices. I'm calling to see who's going to take TVs because my TV vendor, I need a second TV vendor because my current TV vendor can't handle my volume. Right. So I'm working, but I don't need to be in the work all day because even shooting the podcast or taking time teaching students at UWM, I'm enhancing my mind. I'm thinking about my marketing. I'm challenging our business all on the business things because the business is being taken care of. Because I've hired, trained, coached, and mentored. But it all comes down to investing. Do you look at your employees as expenses or an investment? So what you said today, you invested $300 into your employee to run the skid steer so that you could take on 2 meetings. And I remember a year ago, you're like, hey, I'm going to start teaching them how to run the skid steer because I don't need to be here. And then you're going to start teaching them how to run the backhoe and the dozer and the whatever else is next. But those are investments. You make investments in 3 ways: your time, your effort, or your money.
Yeah.
And if I could just invest money in shit and get the results, I'm all about that. But you already put the time in with him. You had to put the effort in to train him how to run the skid steer and run the job that you want to do. The money's the simple part. Hey, $300. Hell, $300 for 8 hours? Casey, you're worth $250, $300 to your business all day.
Yeah.
You bought yourself 7 fucking hours. That's what you did.
Yeah.
You bought yourself 7 hours.
Well, and the cool thing is, also, who's that first person going to be? Are you going to just hire a laborer, someone to help you do the jobs? Because
hire your number 2.
What I want to do when I look at someone to hire, I look at how far in this company can he go? If I hire this guy, how much does it take off of my plate? Because the dream would be me making a phone call maybe once a week or so to Altman and being like, hey, how's the business going? That check was a lot fatter than last month. I appreciate it. You doing good? Need anything? Cool. Right? Yep. Well, in order to get there, I have to replace myself. I have to replace him. I have to keep moving him up and keep driving forward. And you don't get there by saying, hey, I need a temporary fix. No, I need a permanent fix. I need someone to come in and I need them to take my job away from me. When I had my junk removal franchise, right? Everybody I hired, and I always thought I was full of shit. Everybody I hired, I told them the same thing. I go, everybody here has the potential of taking my job away from me. And the day you come into my office and you say, Casey, I know more than you, and I can do your job. If you prove it to me, I will let you. And they always laugh. They're like, oh, whatever. Because they understand that was what I wanted. Now, could they have done it? Absolutely. Did they? No. Because they were scared of it. They didn't understand how much it took, and they didn't want to put in the work and the hours and the knowledge, all that bullshit. They didn't want to learn, but it got to the point I hated being the only person that knew what I did because now I always have to either train, do it, or figure shit out for someone else when I actually needed someone else to do all that for me. And I had a number 2, don't get me wrong, but even he now is having issues where he's at, and he has my old job. He pretty much,
and when one of your other number 2s went out and started his own junk removal company to compete against you.
Yeah, and he's still doing it enough. He's still in his truck by himself.
But he's still in his truck, exactly. So he thought he knew what all the things you did were, and he did it. He just knew how to run a truck, and maybe a little bit more. And God bless. I like him. He's a good fucking dude. But if he hits you up and says, hey, why am I not where you were after 2 years or 3 years? Well, because you didn't do the things that I did in year 1, in year 2, in year 3.
Well, he's starting to do, things are starting to fall into place forcefully now. Like now he has a warehouse. Like he can't just keep doing it out of his house anymore. He's feeling that pain. And he was telling me, here's another mistake he makes. He goes anywhere. He will drive anywhere for a job. So I actually used it to my advantage. I had a big ass job, and there was like 30 something tires, and it was an hour and a half away from where he is. So I called him, and I hired him. I was like, "Hey, how much do you charge for these tires? I don't want to mess with him." He drove his happy ass an hour and a half to make like $340 on tires. And I was like,
God bless.
Cool. Guess what? I'm going to use you for all my shitty jobs now. You know why? Because you put yourself in that position. So it is what it is.
Right. Shitty to you is great for him. God bless.
Oh, yeah.
Right, you made a buck doing it.
After we do a demo, we always have a final clean. It's when we go in, we rake, we hand pick, make sure that the site's good. Guess who I hire for that? Junk removal companies. You know why?
Yep.
Because they offer labor services, and I know their pricing because I used to fucking run one for 6 years. So I know, is it worth it for me? Absolutely. Because I'd rather, in that time, have my guys wrapping the machines up, getting it filled up, getting things ready to roll, have that other company come in, sweat their ass off by hand picking all this bullshit and raking it up every day.
For the first time ever, I subbed out carpet removal today. I met a guy. Here's the thing. Last Tuesday, we had a open house at our warehouse. And a guy I never met before was like, "Hey, we do flooring." I'm like, "All right, fucking flooring guy, whatever, dime a dozen." Or the question he asked was, "Hey, what do you do with your carpet?" And I'm like, "Yeah, we don't really get a lot because we don't remove carpet." But I said, "But I got a job coming up." Why? He goes, "Oh, well, we'll take the carpet and we'll recycle it." And I've heard of carpet recyclers in the past. Most of the time, if I'm pulling carpet, it's fucking nasty and it's going direct to landfill, just the nature of the beast. And I asked him, I was like, "Well, what do you charge?" I said, "You just straight up remove carpet, not even do the fucking the new flooring." He's like, "Oh yeah, we do it all the time." I'm like, "Cool. How much would it be for you to do this?" So I sent him an estimate over, or I sent him the info over this morning for a project, and I bid it, and he came in, and I told our operations person, if he comes in this number or lower, we say yes. And he came in, and he was higher than the number, but I thought to myself, where are we at? Our one job was probably a 2-day project, and our second project today was a 1-day project. But I'm like, you know what? The 2-day project, if we don't do the carpet part, it's already a half a day project.
Yeah.
And the other one, it was probably 1 day, but the customer added a garage and some other shit as one does, right? And I'm like, man, do I want to burn my guys out on a fucking Monday pulling carpet, or just want to stub this thing out? So now I'm willing to pay more than it obviously it is to cost my guys. So, because I hear that shit all the time. I got a corporate client right now. They're like, "Well, it's more expensive to hire you than it is for us to do it ourselves." I'm like, I fucking hope so.
Yeah.
Right? Same we have this carpet, right? Ultimately, I'm charging the customer more than it's costing me to do the carpet. But you know what? I don't have to fucking think about it. I don't have to worry about the disposal. I'm not going to burn my fucking guys out on a Monday because, believe it or not, like, they give a shit, right? It's a 6-day work week. We got Saturday shit this week. I don't want to burn them out. We don't have all the tools and equipment, and we pull carpet once a month. So why wouldn't I just sub it out? And it's a big enough project, about a $2,000 project, big enough for me to sub it out, but small enough for me to not give a shit, have them bang it out. Now I built a rapport with them, and my guys are fresh. And to your point, I can stick with fucking high-end residential junk removal or commercial junk removal, the things that I do well.
Yeah.
Last week, I tore a fucking treehouse down because for one of our customers, and it was a simple job, and the weather was right, and it just worked, right? So there, I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to sub that shit out because it worked, and we made good money on it.
Yeah, Friday
understand
we did
when and where. But, and I say these things, I wasn't on either of these fucking jobs, right?
Yeah.
My happy ass last week was doing my Army thing. That's why I got a little baby face going. and today, you heard my schedule. It was network. That's what my day was today. Build the fucking business.
So Friday, we had one job, and I told you we just did a driveway. Well, on Friday, that one of those meetings I took that Thursday was for a job that I just happened to schedule for Friday. And I was like, "Look, we'll come and knock it out Friday. It should probably take a day." It was one full 40-yard full of like some brush, an old like shed and barn. I charged him $2,300, and I had my guy do it by himself. And he called me at noon. He was like, "Hey, I'm done." And I was like, 4 hours, huh? That's how you make $2,300. So
yeah,
it took
what 400 or 500. What's your haul away on that?
So he was $300. The dumpster was $700, and then $300 for machine stuff.
Right.
So,
So you're $1,300 into a $2,300 job.
$1,000
in
profit.
4 or 5 hours. What's that?
$1,000 took home.
$1,000 in profit because you invested your time and money into him running the fucking machine. You invested your money into him running the machine to get time for you to invest in the next job.
Yeah, and I did it on Thursday. So that Friday I had lunch with him and another guy.
Out.
You know? So that's the cool thing is also I had this big job that I'm about to go look at on Wednesday. Huge. I've already looked at it before. I'm already ahead of the game, and I'm going to hit up another demo company to do it with me because I'd rather get it done in a week than do it myself and it take us 3 or 4 weeks. That's just plain simple math.
So that 5-trailer job today that I said, the customer even said, hey, he called us late last week. He's like, hey, can you fit us in Monday? I said, I can guarantee 2 trailers, maybe 3. I got to see how the day plays out. I'm aware of my operational liabilities, right? There's some things that have to fall in place.
Yeah.
And I met with him this morning. I said, hey, I guarantee you we're going to get the first floor and second floor, depending on how this other job goes. Knowing I got this carpet situation in my back pocket, I said, depending on how it goes, I might hop on and get this whole thing done today. He's like, oh, no, I don't expect you to. So, well, my goal is to exceed expectations. And then what I told our GM was, and our guys concur with this, right? They would rather fucking grind it out, bang it out, get the trucks back here, unloaded, feeling great about themselves, than go back to the same job the next day. Or in your case, when you have a 3 or 4 week job, go back and be there for 2 or 3 or 4 weeks. In our industry, we are not used to a long duration.
Right.
We're good for 2 or 3 hours, not 2 or 3 days, and sure as hell not 2 or 3 weeks. And I've done the 2 or 3 month long jobs, and they're just a fucking grind. But that's not why we do junk removal.
No.
Right? You want to be on 3-4 month projects? Go be a fucking builder. Right?
Yeah.
Be a carpenter, a fucking framer, a plumber, electrician, and put up fucking buildings. In junk removal, we're looking for, 2-3 hours is about our sweet spot. After 3 hours, we get fucking distracted, right?
Yeah.
Or 2 or 3 days on a big project. You don't want shit. You want to start a project on Tuesday and be wrapped by Thursday. You don't want to be starting shit on Wednesday knowing you got to go back there on a Monday.
Well, you also understand it's the rule. I forgot what they call it, the fucking rule of something, but the longer you are on a job, the more liability you're incurring,
Oh, every day.
Every day it gets something. It's like, hey, we're here one day. We got through the day. Awesome. Oh, shit, it's a 3-day job. What's going to bring tomorrow, right?
Correct. It's 1 day of driving. It's 1 day of fucking backing your trucks. And it's 1 day of whatever. One time.
Yeah.
But every time you do it again, you're increasing the likelihood of something going bad.
Absolutely.
With bigger jobs, I tell people this, you got to figure this shit out, right? It takes almost as much time to do the first 90% as it does the last 10%.
Yeah.
So backward plan, what is going to be that last 10% that's going to sneak up on you? Mm-hmm. What is it? Right? In today's case, if I didn't send another truck, we're going to run out of room by like 6 yards.
Better have it,
right?
not need it.
Right, 6 yards out of 4, at that point we had pulled 4.5 trailers. 6 fucking yards was the difference between getting it done and not getting it done. Like that's asinine. But it all came down to sending the truck at noon when we anticipated it versus wait until 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon and be like, oh shit, now we ran out of capacity. I'd rather send the truck out there empty and bring it back empty than shake the dice that we're going to fit it all.
And you have to because it happens all the time. I mean, hell, that's logistics 101, right? What's it cost me to do this? What's it cost me to get from A to B back to A? And we were doing jobs where you had to look at it, even if it's a minimum, but we were supposed to do jobs an hour away. Well, fuck. Is it worth sending 2 guys 1 hour one way, make $150, turn around, and hopefully make it back in an hour or hit traffic? Now you're in it.
Fuck no.
I think it was like 14 times 2, so let's just say $30 an hour, right? Not including fuel and all the other bullshit overhead.
Yeah, fuel, insurance, truck payment, workers' comp, opportunity cost.
Yeah.
I know. And those jobs there, I tell people all the time, hey, if you're out of our area, I'll get to you when I get to you.
Yeah.
Right?
Not
much for money.
And it ain't going to be the end of the day either.
No, it's going to be when my routing allows. And if you use another customer or you use another contractor, God bless. And half the time they're like, "Oh, I'm going to use someone local." All right, cool. You weren't my customer when you called me.
There you go.
You're not my customer now. That's the other challenge. People want everyone to be their fucking customer.
Yeah.
No, I don't want everyone to be my customer. I want my ideal customer to be my customer, and I want one or two deltas beyond that, and that's it.
Well,
so if I say, what are the things that are most important to me? If they're way out here, you can't even see it on the fucking screen. Like, if they're way out here, they're not my ideal customer. I don't want them to be my customer.
Well, it's like the whole tire job that I hired Paul to do for me, right? Yeah. I know for a fact he has to pay per tire to get rid of tires. And he charged me. $3 a tire? What's that?
Was it $3 a tire down there?
I don't know. Whatever he has to pay. It's probably like $3 a tire. But, he charged me $340 for 38 tires or something. So I'm like, okay, so he just drove an hour and a half one way, spent 30 minutes loading, an hour and a half the other way. So he spent 3.5 hours out of his day, and he barely made $100.
Right. Plus he's going to unload.
Yeah.
Right. So and 4 hours into it, let's call it $3 a tire. That's 90. Right. So it took him 4 hours to make $250.
And he drove a diesel, so I know his diesel fuel is $5 a gallon. Right. So here's the other thing you don't think about.
If he's just going to make a living, if he's just making a living, he made mission.
Right. But here's the other thing. Now, inadvertently, I'm going to call him for my shit jobs because I know he'll do them.
That's why I don't like working with people that want a deal.
Yeah.
I'm going to give them a deal this time, and then they're going to take care of me next time. No, they're not. They're going to want a fucking deal every time.
You never reward a new customer. Always reward your repeats, not a new customer.
That's it. Reward returns.
Like, you want a deal? Use me again. I'll give you a deal.
Yeah, I get burnt out. So I'm working with these UW-Madison students. They just gave me their final presentation. But one of the things they said is they wanted to incentivize, customers to return or give referrals.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, "Oh, we want you to discount." I was like, "I don't fucking discount. I fucking hate the idea of discounting because I'm not discount double check, right? I'm not going to discount my services. Now, what I can do, this is something I learned from Gary Vee, right? Watching his shit, he doesn't discount, he does free. So either gives you free shit or free, right? So instead of discount, I'm not going to discount my service. Now, I might make a donation to a charitable organization in your name, but now I'm not discounting. I'm giving, profits forward to an organization that you want, which is significantly different than discounting. But I'm not doing that to earn your business. I'm doing that as a thank you once I have your business and you're referring me to somebody else. Then now we're building something.
And that's the other thing is delegation doesn't always mean inside operations. You can delegate your own customers.
Somebody else. Yeah.
I mean, your customers can now become business development for you. They can become advocates for your company. All you got to do is treat them right, And ask them.
If my customer acquisition cost is $75 on a $500 service, whatever. If I offer to donate $50 to a charity, my customer acquisition cost went from 15% to 10%.
Right.
And it's 100% return because I only pay it when it works. Why wouldn't I pay that 10% every time?
Right. And let's say, like, we had a guy who he moved here from Kansas or some shit. He bought a house, sight unseen, badass house, by the way, like 1.2 mil. This was like February last year. He's loaded, but he used us once and used us again. He used us like 9 times in 2 months for half a trailer or less each time. But then he started telling everybody around him because they were seeing not just our trucks pulling in and out of his humongous estate, but they're like, "What are you having done?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm remodeling my entire house. I bought this thing sight unseen, and now I want to remodel the entire inside." I'm like, shit. But we would get calls on the same street. "Hey, our neighbor, James, he gave us your number. We really want you all to do this, this, and this." Well, now not only is my customer acquisition going down, I'm actually making money off of him speaking. Yeah. To this point, it's not costing me a dime to get jobs because he's doing it for me, and he's used me so many times that even the percentage just keeps getting smaller and smaller and smaller. It's almost like I hired him just to go out there and spill the name of me. But people don't understand that.
But you said, I really do appreciate what you said. We started this show 30 minutes ago, or whatever, talking about delegating. And yeah, you're right. I got thinking about, all right, I'm going to delegate responsibilities, right? But you're right. Delegate your sales.
Yeah.
Delegate the voice of the customer by asking the fucking customer. We as entrepreneurs, we have these ideas and they're like, oh, this is what it's going to be. And you have this perfect fucking plan in your head. And you go out, and if you're not willing to delegate some of that vision, you're not willing to delegate some of that how we're going to fucking get there, it's going to be you and nobody fucking following you.
You hire your
You're
customers.
not going to have people following you. Yeah. You don't have customers that believe in you. You're not going to have employees that believe in you. You're not going to have social media following, avid fans that are following you because you're so particular about what your definition of fucking success is and how you're going to fucking get there.
Well,
and
a
we've
lot
seen
of
people like that.
And a lot of people, they want to be the ones doing it. Like, okay, for instance, you subbed out someone to do some carpet removal, but there's a lot of times where I'll get a call and it's a job and they want me to do it for them. They want me to wear their shirts. I'm like, why can't you just not just use me, but why can't you tell your customer you use this badass company called this instead of pretending that this is your business? Don't be afraid to sub out other companies and then hide the fact that you subbed out another company. Well, it's because they want their name on everything. I'm like, okay, well, here's the issue. Let's just say I put my shirt or your shirt on my back. Then I fuck up.
Yeah.
Whose problem is it? Because now I work for you. But before I did. So they don't understand that. And I'll tell you this, it's probably the biggest thing for me. It was the biggest change that I needed to make when I did. And it saved my ass because there's still a guy here. I'm not going to drop any names, but he's in North Dallas, Frisco area. And he don't trust anybody. Well, to this day, he started way before me. And he's still out there grinding to stay alive. And he owes all this money to fucking J-Dog because he can't get out. He can't prove his business is profitable because he is still in a damn truck. Because he doesn't trust. He is the fucking business. Huh?
But he is the business.
He is.
He is the business.
You know what? He's a great guy, man. I would love to have a beer with him on a weekly basis. But he's not a good business owner. And now he's stuck. So don't get stuck in your business, man.
Don't start stuck. Don't be stuck in your fucking mindset when you start it that this is how you're going to do it. Don't be afraid to invest money. There's a guy I know on the East Coast where he every month we talked. Hey man, how can I get like you? How do I get that second, third, fourth truck? How do I get? I'm like, you gotta get out of the fucking truck. Well, I can't because I don't trust my guys on the job. Well, you didn't invest in training them, or invest in the fact that they might go out there and fuck up, and have the wherewithal to not be on every fucking job. So you can't, you can admire what I have, right? But if you desire to be on every fucking job, we're not gonna get the same fucking thing, right? It's that admire, desire, require.
Mm-hmm.
If every job requires you admiring my vacations, my time off, get you fucking nowhere because you're not taking the necessary steps to get there in the first place.
Well, and
again,
that's the thing is I'm sick right now. Okay, I'm pretty sure I'll be fine. Hopefully, I think tomorrow I'll be better. But let's just say I wasn't better all week. Well, if I was the only one working in my company, that means my company would be down for an entire week. That means I couldn't do the podcast on Monday because I can't. Oh, I'm too sick to do that shit too. See, it affects so much. But even if we did the podcast today at 9:00 in the morning, I would be here because my guys out there doing the jobs. So delegation is one of those things we learn in the military. Forcefully,
I learned it. I'll give a shout out to Staff Sergeant Sanchez. I learned it the hard way in a wall-to-wall counseling in which I was the platoon sergeant and he was the squad leader, and he had me pinned up against the wall, which normally isn't the way it is. I went from being a team leader to a squad leader for about 6 months to being a platoon sergeant, and I never had a good relationship between squad leader and platoon sergeant because I hadn't been in the shoot that long. Yeah. And as a reservist, it was like 6 months I had a platoon sergeant as a squad leader. Like, that's 10, 12 fucking days. That's nothing, And I didn't learn. I didn't know how to do it. And all of a sudden, I was a platoon sergeant, and I only had one squad. I was like, oh, this is simple, right? Platoon sergeant with one squad or 1.5 squads is you're a glorified fucking section chief or goddamn, platoon sergeant or squad leader rather. But then as our platoon went from 11 to 38, and then eventually topped out at like 55 at one point. It was ridiculous. As a platoon sergeant, I had to learn, and actually, what is Staff Sergeant Javier Sanchez down in fucking Illinois, I think Crystal Lake area, maybe McHenry, something like that. Anyways, we're down at Fort Bliss. We're training up to go down to Gitmo, and I micromanaged the shit out of the squad leaders, and I'll say it to this day. I know I did. I didn't know at the time. I thought if I did all the work, I was easing up on them, but really I was cutting their legs out from below them.
Yeah.
Anyways, we did whatever final formation. I wouldn't have a fucking leaders recon. After the leaders recon, I backbriefed the squad leaders for them to tell their team leaders to tell them, the troops, right? Which to us is every fucking day, right? To civilians listening, probably foreign fucking language, right? But that's how the goddamn Army works. You have a formation to have a meeting, to have another meeting, to have another meeting, to have another formation to talk about what we talked about at the fucking meeting, right? That's
formation.
The Army.
Conference call in person.
Yeah.
Imagine
a formation is a conference call
8 conference
with 125 people. A formation is a conference call with 125 people where only 3 people have a mute button.
Yeah.
And the other 122 watch. And whatever's said, as soon as it's over, the first sergeant says, take charge. And then the platoon sergeant's doing an about face and say the same shit.
Yeah.
And then the platoon leader says, yeah, I'm good. And then you go do what you said an hour ago when you were standing there 10 minutes prior to the 10 minute prior to the 10 minute prior, because someone's still fucking running late. Because that's the Army.
Just want to see everybody.
So after a final formation and a leader's recon after chow, I went and talked to the squad leaders, and I don't even know what I fucking said to him. I couldn't tell you this day. And he goes, we need to fucking talk. And I was like, yeah, fuck you. Yeah, we do. So we go in the lunch room, which in the barracks is the only semi-private, quiet place that's not a fucking shitter. And close the door behind us, and there's like laundry going and people wanting to come in and out. And he's like, nah, like give us 5 fucking minutes. And he fucking grabbed me. I still have my ACU top on. I think he was in PTs. Grabs me by my fucking ACU top and pushes me to the fucking wall, and I'm two inches off the ground. And we had a very meaningful one-way conversation. He was driving the train. I was watching it come down the tracks. And you know what? I needed that. And basically what he told me was, hey, you're not allowing us to do our fucking jobs. You think you're doing right by making all the fucking decisions and telling us what to do and managing it down to the name tape level. But not only are you burning your fucking self out, you're burning out us, the squad leaders, the team leaders, and the troops, because you're not letting us fucking breathe. And I mean, it was only heated for, 45 seconds, maybe 60. But, a lot can happen in 60 seconds, as you know. But
I think a lot of it,
it just had to be said.
It had to. And I think a lot of it is, especially in the military, shit hits the fan and it rolls downhill. So a lot of times you're like, man, if I screw up, this is going to suck. So you don't want to screw up. So that's why you don't want to delegate. And then you're like, fuck, I should delegate it because now I'm, like you just said.
Well, you're at the time I was afraid of failure.
Yeah.
And so the way I protected myself against failure was, hey, if I do it, I know it's done right. But if I do it and do it and do it and do it, no one else fucking learns. And then here's why. You were talking about being sick. I said, hey, I'm not going on leave. We're on our way to Gitmo. I'm like, I'm not going to take fucking leave. I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying here for this entire deployment.
Yeah.
We get there just after Thanksgiving. Right before Thanksgiving, November 19th, we got there. We got there right before Thanksgiving. And the second week of December, I got a Red Cross message that my grandmother, who I grew up with, was ill. I knew she was ill, but she wasn't going to make it at Christmas. And so I went home on a Red Cross message, right? And it wasn't until I come back where I'm like, you know what? I was gone for 2 weeks. It wasn't until I come back where I'm like, oh, fuck, you know what? They figured it the fuck out themselves, and I did not set them up for success. Because what I should have been doing the whole time was taking squad leaders with me to that, the NCO back brief. I should have been doing NCO DP and empowering them, not talking at them.
Right.
I should have had them stand in front of the formation as squad leaders and take charge, stepping in my place in the platoon sergeant. And I didn't have the foresight for that. I was so concerned about what was here now in the present. I hadn't even considered what might happen in the future. And I can sit here, that was 7 years ago, 8 years ago now, and 8 years ago now, and I can appreciate it. I can appreciate that. I didn't fucking know it then. I need to learn it, but it comes with delegation. And hell, I was at drill this weekend, and I have a leader appointed above me that doesn't fucking delegate, and it bothers everybody. Like this sergeant goes out there, and you can see it. They're just showing their fucking ass to everybody because they're nitpicking every little fucking thing. And then you get people that aren't fucking engaged. They don't want to support it. They want to just sit back and say, you know what? Not my fucking monkey, not my circus, not my problem. And then, like me, if you treat me, I'm a E7. I'm a sergeant first class in the Army. If you treat me like a PFC, like a private first class, a fucking E3, guess what? I'm gonna fucking act like it. Yeah. You treat me like an asshole, I'm gonna act like an asshole.
Well, I think delegate. It's also so. Here's the tricky thing about delegation too. I want everybody to hear this. When you delegate, you're not pushing blame. So I don't want anybody to think that just because you're delegating doesn't mean that, hey, now it's not my problem. No. At least from my experience, a good leader, right, a good business owner, you take the credit when you don't want to. When shit hits the fan, you take the credit. When you have a customer who's like, oh my gosh, you did amazing. Hey, you know what? It was my guys. Because if you're not doing that, you're cutting their legs out from underneath them. And they want to grow just as much as you.
Yeah. When I know I did a good job? Friday night I came in, I had to play Army for a few days in the middle of the week. And I came in Friday night. I synced up my QuickBooks to my jobber. I looked at my fucking profit and loss statement. I'm like, oh, look at that. Margin percent and margin were higher than the last month. That's the ad. I don't need a fucking attaboy. I don't need people telling me I did a good job. That's when I know I've done my fucking job. And I shared that with the guys. But they need the day in and day out. They want it. They desire it. And they fucking earn it. At the end of the day, the frontline guys are the ones in the fucking trenches making shit happen. I'm not. So I don't need, want, or desire that credit. If I did, I would be out there banging fucking jobs. What I need is for them to go out and be successful so that I buy myself the freedom to go to the Waste Expo in Vegas or go to fucking networking events and lunches in the middle of the fucking day. That's what I need. Right? I need that fucking freedom. I don't need the fucking attaboy. Right. Tips, I've heard about this in the past where like owners will go on a job and then keep the fucking tip. Man, if I'm on a fucking job and we get a tip, I've never taken $1 of tip money.
Yeah, ever. I've never kept the tip.
And on a day like today, when I know our GM was running from one job site to the other, he's brand new, so he doesn't have a credit card yet. But I told the one guy, I was like, hey, give him your fucking credit card so he can go buy lunch. Yeah. And I know, right? $30-$40 in lunch, I'm investing, right? Again, investments, not fucking expenses. I've been investing into my fucking guys. I know if they eat chow, I'm going to get that 10% more than I need. Right? Yeah, I'm not asking for 110%. I'm asking for 80%. If I can get 90% when I buy chow, that's what I'm going for.
And I think another thing about like tips, for instance, tips are great. Don't get me wrong. Tips are that added bonus that, hey, you did a good job. I'm going to pay you more than what your price is. But whenever we would get a tip, I remember very seldom I'd have to go out and do a job with my number two or something. They would tip us heavily. Hey, here's $100 between the two of you. Sweet.
Yeah,
and I'd usually give it to him, have him keep it.
Yep.
And I started seeing he started giving his tips to the guys because he was salary. Okay.
Yeah.
And no one else was salary. It's just him and we're good. But he started understanding that, if I really need the tips, I'll take it. But I honestly don't need the tips. And I even told him that. I was like, look, dude, if you ever get a tip, you fucking need a tip, then you got bigger problems, right? Because you're getting paid pretty good. And these guys over here working hourly, a tip not just helps them monetarily, it actually boosts their boosts the
motivation, morale, motivation, the spirit of core, all that shit.
And they're like, hey, now I got $20 extra.
It's about the fact of being recognized.
Right.
It's about the recognition.
Yeah. And I think that's a huge thing. And, when you're delegating, that's the thing you're setting them up for. You're not setting them up to do shit you don't want to do. You're setting them up for success. You're saying, hey, look, I'm entrusting you with with these responsibilities because, look, if we do this the right way, you can run the show. Like I've always told everybody that. I don't care if you just started or you've been here for 5 years. If you do the right things and you learn what you need to learn, and you're always, and I mean always being thinking smart, not hard, you have everything in you to take over the entire company. Like I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I would rather, like I told you, man, I would rather sit at home and play with my son and soon to be my other son, and my phone go off. Hey, check just got deposited. Sweet. I didn't do shit. Like, that's awesome. Well, now I had that opportunity because soon I'm going to be off for probably 2 weeks because I'm having another baby boy. He's being born in a few weeks. And I told my guy, I was like, hey, look, I'm not going to schedule you big jobs, but I will schedule anything you want me to schedule. If you're comfortable with it, I'll schedule it still. But I trust him to go out there and do it. And I even told him I'll pay him a little more because I won't be out there. So I'm still getting my money.
But this has been 6 years of grooming him, setting him up for success.
Yes.
Right? And putting him in a position to be successful. Now, to play devil's advocate when it comes to delegation, right? I know you want to sit back and get that check, but you got to do the fucking work. You got to put the time and effort in. Because I've seen other guys in this industry, they buy the truck, they buy the trailer, they put the fucking wrap on, they go on 2 fucking jobs, and then they go to networking events, and they say, oh, why isn't this working? Why isn't that working? And you spend 10 fucking minutes on a job, and you're like, well, your guys don't have the right equipment. They don't have the right training. They don't know how to use the equipment the right way. They're not considering alternate, sources instead of just going to landfill. Like you gotta know your fucking job inside and out. So like what you said, Casey, is hey, if you know more than me and you figured out more than me, you can have my fucking job.
Yeah.
But they gotta earn that. If they know more than you after being there a fucking month, you don't know your ass from a hole in the wall.
Oh yeah.
Right? You can't delegating when you don't know shit isn't really delegating. That's just having someone else do the fucking work for you. And that ain't even close to the same fucking thing.
And you can even, so Simon Sinek, he has a great 30-minute talk thing on delegation. And he has an entire book on why leaders eat last. Right. But it's one of those things where if you're also not grooming yourself for the next position or leadership, you're going to fail everybody else underneath you. So when you delegate wrong because you are too lazy to really learn how to delegate or ask questions, you're not just failing them, you're failing yourself because, look, I get it. People are going to fuck up. But, man, when it happens all the damn time, you got to stop and say, wait a minute, why? Why are they fucking up so much? Now it's starting to be my one constant, Yeah. And that was the thing is, truck and trailer setups. A lot of people think, well, I'd rather just go with the dump truck. Those things are dumb, by the way. But, look, if you're in a downtown area, I get it. But if you're not, you don't need it. It just doesn't make sense, at least down here. Yeah. But their excuse was always, well, it's easier to train someone on a dump truck. I'm like, I understand that, but at the same time, I'd rather take the time, train them right on a truck and trailer, and it maximize my profit. So you kind of get what you pay for. And let me look at Got Junk. Got Junk is a great company to be a part of in the top echelon, but they hire at $10 an hour. Their retention is terrible. And it's because they don't care. They hire anybody they can. Oh, that guy quit. I got 2 more coming in at $10 an hour.
Yep. Turn them and burn them. And it's that added easy in, easy out, right? I look at it where it's simple. It's simple to learn how to drive truck and trailer, right? Left is right, right is left when you're backing up.
Yeah.
And when you're going straight, go wider on your fucking turns. And then you kind of figure everything else out. Like if you understand those 2 basic rules, you'll be all right. The challenge is what you just said. Well, it's easier. It's easier. It's easier. It's also fucking easier? Getting a goddamn job. Because entrepreneurship, right, is more difficult than getting a fucking job.
Oh, yeah.
So when do you want to stop doing what is easy and start doing what is simple? It is simple to train people. If you know how to do it, take the time, invest the effort, invest the money, and train people. That's it. It's simple. Entrepreneurship is fucking simple. 9 times out of 10, the answer is right fucking in front of you. Do you execute on that?
If you're not trying to replace yourself, no one's going to have the motivation to try and replace you. And that's how people succeed, when they're motivated by the person underneath them. Because they're like, hey, this guy's coming for my job. Well, if that guy's like, hey, I don't really care to, because why? You got no motivation. Hey, I'm safe. I'm going to get complacent. And what do we learn in the military? Complacency kills.
100%
time.
So I was talking about that the other day to somebody, and there's the 3 C's, right? There's comfortable, there's content, and there's complacent.
Yeah.
I don't want to be any of them, right? I'll say I'm comfortable. I'm not concerned about my bills as much as I used to be in the place in other places in my life in the past, But I strive for the fucking discomfort. If you get to a point where you're content being an entrepreneur, don't be a fucking entrepreneur. Because if you're content, your guys are going to feel that. Now you can be comfortable, right? Ain't no shame in that. But if you're complacent, you're dead. If you're content, you're not growing. If you're comfortable, you're in a place to make good decisions, right? So you got to build this place of comfort. So when your guys come, they know that you want more for them. They got to know day one that they can have your fucking job. They got to know that you're willing to let them have a voice to grow your company and grow your vision, and you're not going to fucking micromanage the shit out of them, which will get them complacent. Because they'll say, you know what? It doesn't fucking matter what I do or don't do. The motherfucker ain't going to change.
And that's the thing is that's poor leadership. That's why there's a difference between a boss and a leader. Straight up.
And we see it in the civilian world. We still see it in the military.
Yes, sir.
All right. So what are your top takeaways from today?
My top takeaways: it sucks doing a podcast when you're sick. But the other thing, their takeaway is, you and I are we're from completely different places, different backgrounds, I would say, different grown, we grew up differently, but we have the same issues and we're actually dealing with them the same way. And, neither one of us is afraid to reach out to the other to ask for help, especially in any aspect when it comes to business. Right. And I think when it comes to delegating, it's a form of delegation. I got a problem. I don't know the answer. I'm going to reach out to Andy. I'm going to delegate this fucking problem. Maybe he has an answer. And I think it's one of those things that shows huge growth because, everybody wants to be successful and they always want, whether you want to admit it or not, everybody has a slice of, hey, guys, look at me. Look what I did. But no one ever wants to say, look what I did because of the people around me. Right? You don't hear that all the time. And that's the biggest difference. I can say comfortably, I could say this very, very comfortably. I have a great support network when it comes to my business, family, and other issues, like other aspects. But I can pick up the phone and call people and say, dude, I'm stumped. Or, last week, I'm not even gonna lie, like last week, I was unmotivated as a motherfucker. I was just down and I hit like a writer's block. I was just like, I don't know what to fucking do today. So a buddy of mine called. He has a landscaping company. Alex, actually, you met him. He was like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, dude, I don't really know. I just kind of just don't know. He goes, stop being a bitch and just fucking do it. I'm like, okay. And it worked. Like him and I started, like we talked, we started talking about business stuff. And next thing you know, it just, that's all you need sometimes. Right. So the support system is around me, and it's because in the very beginning, I wanted to grow. In order to do that, I had to ask other experts around me, hey, how do I do this? How do I grow this way? But yeah, that's the big takeaway, man, is delegation is vital for growth. Well, if you don't know how to do it, ask.
Delegate your success.
Yeah, share it. Look, Mr. Elon, owner of Twitter over there, he'll never say he did everything by himself.
Hell no. Hell no. He did PayPal with his brother. He built Tesla with a bunch of smart ass fucking people. Even in Twitter, he doesn't want to run the motherfucker. He wants to just, get the regulatory arm out of it. And the Ministry of Truth. Jesus, we can talk about that motherfucker.
Oh my gosh. I saw that today and I was like, no shit.
I know. I don't even want to get into that shit because I'll need a cocktail or a fucking beer or a cup of coffee or a steak. Something to make me feel better about it afterwards. Anyways, there we go. I will say the delegate your success. And yeah, to that end, Casey, Schwarzenegger talks about it. There's no self-made man. Schwarzenegger was, couch surfing and helping a lot of people that supported him when he was, before he was Mr. Olympian. And he's, one of the most successful people out there. And so success can be delegated. So here's the challenge to everybody out there listening, be comfortable, right? be comfortable in the discomfort, be vulnerable, be honest with yourselves and those around you, challenge yourself, those around you, and the status quo. Be comfortable delegating, because it is very uncomfortable at first, because you want to see your vision come to fruition, but you need to surround yourself with people that you can delegate to. Don't worry about the people in the fucking cheap seats, the naysayers, the ones that tell you can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not sure who's there, who reaches out to you when you've got an issue, who's got a problem, those are the people you want to delegate to,
And
not the
small.
people that are going to step all over it. All right?
And I'd say start small. You know?
Delegate little things.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Well, this has been an amazing episode of the Trash Talk Business Podcast. As always, I'm Andy Weins with Casey, Bubba, and Lawrence. Thank you, and we'll see you next week.
Adios.